Welcome back to another edition of From the Heart. Today, we continue our study of the Gospel of Luke. The message comes from the book of Luke 1, titled The Birth of John the Baptist. Today, we are covering verses 62 to 66. As you know by now, I love the Gospel of Luke. Luke was a physician, and the setting of most of the events in Luke took place in Galilee and Judea. These encounters, filled with profound divine wisdom, continue to guide and enlighten us in our spiritual journey. So let's continue our discussion of the Gospel of Luke. Luke 1 verses 62 to 66 states, "Then they made signs to his father to find out what he would like to name the child. He asked for a writing tablet, and to everyone's astonishment he wrote, 'His name is John.' Immediately his mouth was opened and his tongue set free, and he began to speak, praising God. All the neighbors were filled with awe, and throughout the hill country of Judea people were talking about all these things. Everyone who heard this wondered about it, asking, 'What then is this child going to be?' For the Lord's hand was with him." Now comes the fun part. We get to review these verses together. We know from Luke 1 verses 18 to 20 that Zechariah, John's father, had been struck mute by the angel Gabriel because he doubted the angel's announcement that Elizabeth, Zechariah's wife, would conceive and bear a son. Now, when John was born, family and friends gathered for the circumcision ceremony. Following tradition, they expected to name the child after a family member. However, Zechariah surprised everyone by writing on a tablet that the child's name should be John. This was not just a simple act, but a significant one, as it was not a family name, but the name given explicitly by the angel Gabriel in Luke 1 verse 13. This unexpected turn of events left everyone in awe, inspiring them with the power of the divine intervention. As soon as Zechariah wrote the words, "His name is John," Zechariah's mouth was opened, and he could speak again. This was not just a coincidence, but a clear and certain fulfillment of Gabriel's earlier prophecy in Luke 1 verse 20, in which Zechariah was told he would not be able to speak until after the baby was born. It was a powerful and unmistakable demonstration of the divine intervention in human affairs, a testament to the power and presence of God in our lives. Zechariah's praise and thanksgiving were not just words, but a powerful expression of his faith and gratitude. He praised God for fulfilling his promise and for the miraculous birth of John, inspiring everyone with his unwavering faith. We see in verses 64 and 65 that the neighbors and people in the hill country of Judea were amazed by these events. They recognized that something extraordinary was happening. They wondered about the significance of this child. Little did they know that John would grow up as John the Baptist, who would prepare the way for Jesus Christ. My takeaway from Luke 1 verses 62 to 66 is that it highlights the obedience of Zechariah by naming his son John. These verses also show the miraculous restoration of Zechariah's speech and the awe surrounding the birth of a unique child. The child's role as the predecessor of Jesus will become even more evident as the Gospel of Luke unfolds. Dear listeners, remember that faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting in God's purpose for your life, trusting the unseen, and finding meaning in your journey. This trust can bring peace and reassurance amid life's uncertainties. Thank you for joining me on this enlightening excursion through parts of the Bible. I await your unique perspective on what the book of Luke, chapter 1, verses 62 through 66, means to you. Your distinct interpretation of the passages is not just welcomed, but it is a valuable addition to our discussion. So let's engage in a meaningful conversation so that we might learn and grow together. I encourage you to share your reflections on the book of Luke, as it will foster a sense of community and promote engagement. Your active participation makes our community lively, and your voice enhances our discussion. As you go about your day, please find strength in the words shared. Remember, faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting in God's purpose for your life, trusting the unseen, and finding meaning in your journey. This trust can bring peace and reassurance amid life's uncertainties. Go in peace, and may the armor of God always be with you. This message is from the heart. Also, I invite you to consider liking and subscribing to this channel. Doing so will help grow our community and foster a space for meaningful discussions of the Word of God. I encourage you to invite others interested in deepening their faith and engaging in meaningful conversation. Until next time, bye for now.